Like, what's the one when when he tries to get the waiter's attention, but they don't hear him?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like all of these icks are exactly the shit that men are constantly fighting tooth and nail to not be. And so with these icks, we find out like, no, women are paying attention to the shit. All this silly toxic masculinity shit that we have in our head, they're like, no, low-key, that's gay that you failed to do that. And we're like, fuck.
It's a red flag.
I'm going to operate with a different duty of care towards a stranger that's a woman based on a understanding that I may potentially be viewed as a threat in a way that I wouldn't necessarily accommodate for a man because I'm viewed less that way for a guy. And I don't go for an average between those two. I go for catering differently based on those two different groups and then adjust accordingly. Because some women are going to be more relaxed. Some dudes are going to be a little bit more not relaxed. And so I adjust accordingly. But there's things that I wouldn't do with a woman because it would come across threatening in a way that it wouldn't to another strange man. I'm not going to yell your name out in a dark alley. You know what I'm saying? If I see somebody that I know, whereas a guy, I might. So is that kind of thing? That's not a perfect example.
Oh,
but like,
I got you.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. I get the core. And like from my perspective, in the live when we started this discussion, I very much made that distinction because we were talking about
someone
friends.
You know and someone you don't. Yes.
Yeah, I 100% said this is how I treat my friends, and I explicitly stated that I do break out quote unquote the kid gloves when I'm dealing with like acquaintances.
But is it a different kid gloves based on gender? Is the question?
Yes.
Or is the
it's a different kid glove based on gender, and it's for the reasons that you stated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's kind of where I'm coming from on this. Let's go ahead and get into this podcast real quick though. Welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 dating and gender modal treatment podcast in the universe. It's your boy Eddie. It's Josh. It's Alvin. Let's get into some of these topics real quick. If we are so inclined. I just saw Tahir on their show. What's it called? Damn Internet, You Scary. And they were talking about this wife who wants to fuck her ex that one last time. Yeah. And
terminally ill, 9 months at best. All right. His wife sat him down and said her last wish, oh God, was to sleep with her ex.
Very rarely are both partners the best that each other have ever had.
Damn.
It's very rare.
You're right. Very rare.
It's very rare. In most relationships, that's usually always one person that loves the other person more, right? So, I mean, the same can be said about the ex with the sex. I think what she did is very human. I think she was very transparent with it. I think she was like, hey, listen, I say this for last because this is a big ass. It's a heavy lift. It's the final one. After this, in 9 months, you can fuck your ex.
Damn!
Even Stevens. Even
Steven. We square, baby. On the way out. We square.
Wow. I'm not asking you to make the bitch wear a picture of my face and nothing. Go ahead and get it out.
Wow, Tahir.
I just get mine first.
Respect.
that man, Tahir, so I'm gonna put the clip. This nigga he said exactly what I expected him to say, and it was some bullshit.
Shout out to Tahir.
Shout out to Tahir, exactly. More mob. Yeah, and then he ended it with some funny shit that I was like, damn, that's low key. I'm mad that's kind of a good point. That's a very human response, what she wants. And, she came with vulnerability and transparency the whole time. I'm thinking, man, get the fuck out of here with this. And then he goes, and look, at the end of the day, it's low key fair because she can be like, hey, look, in 9 months, you can fuck your ex too. And I was like, damn, that's a good ass point. So, because she finna be dead.
So maybe I think did I miss something? Like,
have you misunderstood the situation?
Was she like was the ex terminally ill?
Yes, this is the premise. So she's terminally ill. She's finna die in about the duration of a pregnancy, in about 9 months. And for her last meal, she has requested the dick of her previous partner.
Yeah. Ooh, shit.
So that's what's going on. So that's why it's a little bit less crazy on her part than if it's just like, oh, I want to fuck my ex. She's dying. So this is her dying wish to be with her best partner. I'm not saying it's not still crazy, but it's less crazy.
Yeah, because I totally missed that because that is the first line in the thing.
Yeah.
But goddamn, like, can you? Okay, so I mean, hey, you want what you want. I back to her up. I mean, hey, like it's I mean, she communicates, she articulates
Tahir is polyamorous, and he's done been to therapy, so he's I get it. I knew exactly what he was finna say, but
exactly. But just for your regular day, like this is monogamy for us, and if for one, like if my girl is about to die, like that's stab number one.
Right.
And for your last meal, for your dying wish, you want some other dick? You gonna die on me and leave me with this bitch? I'm breaking up with your ass right.
You've now destroyed my memory of you. Like, you not just died, you destroyed the whole relationship up until that point. And this goes back to some shit I say all the time, because I actually agree with Tahir's point, which is that rarely are people with their number one most compatible person across all metrics, including sex. It's usually one or two things that somebody else that you've been with was better. One of your previous partners was funnier. Especially sex. Because low-key, the people who are the best fuckers, usually not necessarily the most like relationship compatible people either. So two people together, y'all both probably have somebody that's the dick or the pussy that got away. But I think part of a healthy, functional, average, conventional relationship is don't talk about that. Like, just let us pretend in the lie. Because any sensible man should already know that.
I won't. I mean, and I take offense to that shit because, like, not offense, but like,
umbrage.
I'm trying to figure out what the right word is, but it's like, I want you to be able to tell me that, like, I'm not your number one because I'm gonna work and I'm gonna at least try to crack top 3. Like, shit. Like,
I got 9 months. That's not enough time.
Like, we can figure this out.
No, but sometimes you can't get to number.
Why even assume that you're the number one in the first place? Like,
I can get to 3, man. I can get to 3. You can tell me I win. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work. I'm gonna put in, some.
But if you're number 2, true. But if you're number 2, no, okay. I think
that was a side point. I don't want to waste too much time on that point because I think there's.
I think it's an interesting side point.
I do think it's a okay side point, but there are other things afoot here. There are other games.
We'll go back. Yeah. But I think that it's about improvement, not comparison. And I think that's for all relationships, for all self-management. It's not how you get to number 3. It's how do you get to be the best lover that you can be. Because she might have fucked some top tier NBA like porn star niggas, and you never gonna crack 5. Sorry, what did I say? Stupid.
This nigga said it's about being the best lover that you can be. Like, I can just imagine you saying that.
Be honest, you can be in the pussy, okay? Like, what's wrong with that?
Wait, we roasted niggas for being earnest now, for being wholesome.
That's the most hilarious shit. Because you meant every fucking word of that line.
I feel like that's actually solid
advice. I can't be the best in the world. I can be the best that I can be. That's my limitation. I can only ever be the best that I can be. So I don't want to. Because what if her top 5 niggas are the best dicks on the planet? So now he's sitting up here trying to
statistically, that's probably not true though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you get my point. I
get your point. Yeah. I get your point. But statistically, like her top, 5 are regular niggas. So I'm competing against regular.
So you can probably beat those. Like, yeah, okay, that's fair. But she might have had a top eater in there. She might have had a top eater in there, which is why you maybe stuck at number 2. And most men don't want to know that. Most men don't want to know that. Most women don't want to know that. So back to the initial thing.
I think all of that is fair, but I would like to say that I think that like a healthy relationship is like being able to like tell your person like how they can improve. You know what I'm saying? Like
improve absolutely.
I invite
that don't have
critique.
anything to do with other niggas.
I invite critique all the time. So
absolutely, that has nothing to do with other men. That has nothing to do with other men or other women. I'm never gonna go.
You don't have to explicitly state that you're comparing them to another person, but obviously you're being compared to another person. So it's like I think the facade
I get what you mean, but not necessarily.
Is necessarily unless you're talking to a virgin.
Because she can
necessarily they're comparing you to somebody else.
Wait, nah.
Necessarily they're comparing you to somebody else.
No, Bucko.
Their experiences they're comparing you to somebody else.
No,
Bucko. Go ahead. No, because all you were saying was no. All I was saying was necessarily. All I was saying was I was trying to start a sentence while you were saying no.
I'm going to now start making my argument if that's all right.
Okay, go ahead. No.
I think that in a situation like that, a person could be comparing you to what they imagine more joy is. Like a person could have 5 quite shitty partners, and you could be the first person that they've experienced like an orgasm with, or an orgasm from oral with. Like that happens all the time, and there's still going to be feedback to improve, to get better at all of the aspects of relationships. So I get your point, which is that, like, of course everybody's compared to something, but you could already be number one in her list, and you still have room to improve. And that's a conversation that should still be happening, and it shouldn't be in the language of, oh, but John did it this way. Oh, Tom did it better this way. It's here's what works for me. Here's what feels better. Here's what I'd like to experiment with. Here's how you could make me feel better, and vice versa.
And on top of that, like there's dicks come in all shapes and sizes. Like it's not all about size and girth. Like legit,
yeah.
like it's
which
dead ass.
Nobody said.
Yeah, nobody.
But
That's not roasted.
All right, fuck that. I mean, hey, go ahead, go for it. Let's. It's a fun episode. Let's go. Let's go.
Nobody's talking about size, baby.
No, but see, that was but that was like kind of
the audience was thinking it, Josh. The audience was thinking
exactly,
it.
and I was thinking it too because it's like
dicks come in all sizes. It was a little
but like, of course, like we weren't thinking, but just in terms of like hearing what y'all was saying, like it could be easily misconstrued that we're thinking about size because Eddie was like NBA players, porn stars. Well, you
I don't know why I said NBA players like they fuck real good. I just
So anyway, but of course you can have like the average size of a dick is what 5 inches or some shit like that.
Depends where you go. It depends where you're at.
In America, we'll say America's like 5.5, and then like
the data's also really bad because usually they're self-reported, so niggas lie. But
you think it's smaller?
I mean,
it's probably small. So it's like men with height. Like when they do actual like studies of like height, and they actually measure people, it follows a bell curve. But when they ask men to self-report height, it doesn't follow a bell curve because
it's just everybody's 6 foot tall.
Like that. Those are the heights that get outside of the bell curve are 5'11", 6 feet tall, 6'1". They get out of the bell curve.
They're not represented properly.
Yeah, but what the CDC does is they have a algorithm now that corrects for lying that they use the height data to build. But for penis size, most of those studies are self-report. So
I did not know that. I thought they was getting niggas hard, and then then that's
just
useless.
There are a few like that. But the large ones that you've seen, like I saw one years ago that was like
in porn,
17,000 like data points. Yeah, like but like 17,000 data points, and that it was self-reported data.
Yeah, okay, that's crazy. But yeah, I also think it varies by like a lot by where you're at. This is just my theory, but I feel like we kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like we kind of go like, oh, it's 5 everywhere, but it's like it depends on which city. It depends on it depends on a lot of factors. I think so, man. Like,
Atlanta, Georgia got the biggest dicks in the United States, nigga. We like
that's a real thing.
Study for that.
That's a real thing.
But okay,
I'm not saying it's a study, but that's a real thing. Like
I mean,
dick sizes are not randomly distributed across different types of people.
Theoretically, it would make sense for it to be like height, and to Eddie's point, height works like that. Right?
Exactly.
Like there are definitely
you can't say the average human height is this. Yeah. It's like different places have different heights and shit.
Right, I mean,
you can't say the average human height.
And I'm saying still take average. You know what the fuck I mean by can't. I'm saying it would be a bad bit of information.
Yeah, averages are higher and say like Scandinavia and shit.
Fine, but that wasn't even like the whole really.
It really wasn't.
Point I'm trying to make. It's just the fact that look, you could have a 4-inch dick and still give your woman the best orgasm that she's had in her life. And then it's not she's comparing this sexual experience with somebody else necessarily. And that's why it said not necessarily, is because you might be hitting that clit with the shape of your dick and the position that you in that a nigga ain't never quite touched before. And she's saying go faster, go faster, go faster, because this is for the pleasure that I'm experiencing right now. This feels really fucking good. With you, I'm not comparing this to nobody else. Nigga, keep doing what you're doing, but do it faster.
Do more. More of what you're doing. Exactly. Yeah.
So I get what both of you are saying. When I'm saying necessarily, I'm talking about the concept of the fact that we were literally talking about a ranking list. So if you're being ranked, you automatically are being compared. That's what it means to rank. But I do think you guys are actually right from an overall perspective.
We clarified and distinguished a different point.
Yeah, everybody's got their own lane.
And I think you're right. And I think you're right. So
everybody's got their own lane, and you can still win a race. Yeah. They're still ranked, but everybody's got their own lane.
Yeah, so I'm my view on this is she should have just cheated and left him out of it. I think it's irresponsible to make it his problem. Like that's real inconsiderate. I get you're dying, And somebody made a very good point, which is that if she was dying and her dying wish was to murder a child or to strangle a puppy because she really wanted to have that feeling of power, it's like, no, motherfucker, just because you're dying doesn't mean you can do any fucking thing. Just because you're dying doesn't mean you no longer have a responsibility to the people in your life or the agreements that you've made. So, no. But it is human, and I do get it, and I understand because death is death. You got to really think about what really death is. Like, say she's 35. My life is done. We've been in a relationship for 9 years, let's say, like less than a third of my life. What do I really want to exit this planet with? And I understand. I could imagine myself feeling those feelings. I'm not gonna make it my girl's problem.
I might have to. Because you know what? I want to walk back just a little bit of what I said. Right?
Okay.
God damn it! My spirit is still telling me, man, fuck that shit. But maybe in the realm of all things possible, because I have definitely been known to say some shit and in reality do like a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So depending on the situation, you know what I'm saying? On the circumstances, like hey, I get it. But and then depending on what's available to me at that time, if there's like some sort of trade off. So where I feel like, okay, I'm getting my rocks off, like this is comparable or greater than maybe something secretly that I really wanted to do. And okay, well, you go and do your thing as your dying wish, but hey, I can eat my cake too. So
yeah, literally,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
see,
yeah, that's it.
Because I think because I think
so.
They said it like it's a rap song. But I could also imagine, because Tahir made a very funny and good point on what I thought was a bullshit initial premise, which is that in 9 months you can do whatever you want. So you're kind of having this conversation where it's like, it seems like she's on some bullshit, but you get to now fuck whoever you want once she dies. And once you get past your grieving period, whereas she doesn't. So it's already low key I know this is like cheater logic, but it's already low key kind of on your side when you really think about it in the big picture of life and death. She's done living, and you're not going to live another 20, 30 years of experiencing whatever you want. So I could see an argument being made to say, okay, look, these next 9 months, because I love you, are about you. I don't need to get my lick back now. You finna be dead in 9 months. We're going to get you whatever kind of dick, whatever kind of life you want to have. You can fuck me. You can fuck him. You can fuck both of us at the same time. We'll explore all of that. And then you're going to die. And then I'm going to do whatever I want with my life. I'm not saying I would do that.
Him for the rest of them 9 months.
See, now that's fucked up.
That's crazy.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
That's a one and done. That nigga better fuck you to death.
Damn, Josh. Jesus.
You better fuck around and pass away. No, I don't. Wait, so wait, are you saying, because wait, are you saying that if she fucks him, then she needs to go be with him? No, or are you saying it would just be fucked up if she only wanted to fuck him for those remaining 9 months?
I mean, but if it was like an ongoing thing for the rest of those 9 months, like y'all still living together, or and then you just gotta watch her put on her evening, freaking dress, her night dress, and get ready just to go to Pound Town. Hell nah, you ain't about to put me through that, because women saying, because nigga, as a guy, most niggas ain't got motion like that to where you can just go outside and just fuck whoever you want to.
That's a fact.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like the availability of dick that women have to them.
Fact, yeah.
Of course, it's a different dynamic. It's the dick that they want versus what's available. But still.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
It's a once again, some niggas got motion. Some niggas got motion. Like
no man has motion comparable to a woman. Niggas have motion.
I would never say never, but
the top tier nigga with motion has about that of the average woman. Or a slightly attractive.
The top tier nigga with motion versus the top tier woman with motion.
I'm saying the top tier, the top of men is like the middle of women.
Nah.
A woman who's a 10 can fuck any name any super duper hot nigga that you want. Them niggas have Me Too cases against them.
That's fair.
No, you know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Come on.
That's fair.
You was finna name a name, Eddie. You was finna say who you thought the top tier nigga was, man.
Yeah, Chris.
I was gonna say Chris Hemsworth. No, I was gonna say. He's attractive, man. I was gonna say.
I might throw that nigga some cheeks.
Wait, Christian Bale? Really?
I just heard Chris, but yeah, Chris. Yeah, no, okay. Like, I get it. Like, if my girl had a hall pass thing and she was like, "Yo, Chris Hemsworth," I mean, hell, if I had a vagina, shit, I'd probably give it to him too. I can't blame you. All right.
And flick.
I've been watching Foundation. Lee Pace, he's probably up there. Like, it depends. Yeah. Anyway,
so my thing is I agree with Eddie. So, and I really thought through this. So I'm thinking about how terminally ill she is because I'm thinking about
how sick are you really?
No,
because maybe I don't want to fuck you no more.
No,
I'm going colostomy bag and shit.
I'm going in a completely different direction than what I think you're assuming. So if she's terminally ill to the point where I have to facilitate this, then the answer is 100% no.
If you're moving hips, then that's a problem.
No, I'm saying like
that's wild.
No, I'm saying like if I gotta like escort this nigga into the apartment or some shit, like if I gotta like
get her wheelchair up the chair.
I gotta set the date. Like I gotta fucking I gotta call him and confirm the day before that kind of shit.
Check his COVID test because she's immunocompromised and shit.
So if I have to facilitate because she's in such a state via terminal illness that I have to do all that kind of stuff, then the answer is no, because I'm not doing that. But outside of that, if she's terminally ill and she's still mobile and can still kind of do that kind of stuff, I'm kind of with Eddie's initial point. Just like do it and don't tell me about it. Like,
yeah, I would say, yeah, don't, because why did you ask me for permission? What was that for? Like who was that for?
So she could die with a guilt-free conscience. She did the right thing. Okay,
but now I hate you. So now you're already guilty. So like you failed on both attempts because now you're guilty and it doesn't matter whether you get to do it or not. Now you're guilty and you don't get to fuck him.
But y'all stress communication like all the time. Like everyone stresses communication.
I never said that.
Communication doesn't mean that I'm going to give you an affirmative response though. Like I think that's what we need to stress when we have communication like conversations. Like, yeah, cool, like communicate with me, but the answer is going to be no, more than likely. And as much as I would like to intellectualize that, as much as I would like to agree with the point that Tahir gave, in his response, I would love to agree with that. I cannot help but think that in the real world circumstance, I would be hurt. So I'm gonna tell you I'm hurt. I'm gonna say no. So that's what communication got you. Now, if you just want your desire fulfilled because you're on your way out, and if you can do that, I say you just do it. Like,
see, I think that some amount of being a grown, emotionally mature adult is that everything doesn't require communication because you should fucking know better. Like now, because I think communication gets used as this excuse to externalize everything that's going on in your head, even if it harms another person.
Yeah.
I don't need to say everything because I'm grown. I know it's going to hurt your feelings. I don't have to hurt your feelings first and then go, oh, well, I communicated clearly. I know how a person works. I've been living for a little while. I care about you. I don't need to communicate some extra shit that's going to hurt your feelings. It's already known.
That takes a level of care, though, that not everybody has. Or a level
I think it's
understanding and knowledge that I don't think everybody quite has. But because I totally get what you're saying.
Is my point. Yeah. I think if you think, oh, maybe I should ask my partner whether or not I can fuck the best person I've ever fucked while simultaneously communicating to them that they're not the best and re-putting that back in their brain. If you sit there and think that without a lick of empathy about how it might hurt their fucking feelings in a way that's not worth your pleasure, that's bad. Do better.
Yeah. But even just not even just dealing with that, but just sometimes, say for instance, right, like when you have a person who has not been communicating for a large majority of their life, right? And then they're trying to communicate more. So like they kind of working through that balance of knowing what to communicate, when to communicate, what thoughts do I need to work through myself, what do I need to let my partner know about, what can I bring my partner in on, That does take a level of balance, maturity, understanding, and knowledge and emotional empathy for yourself and the other person. That again, I don't think necessarily a lot of people have. And so going back to what you said originally, most people just choose not to communicate. So, I mean, hell, we might just be back at square one. Might just go ahead and fuck the other person and, hey, have a little secret.
Yeah, have a secret. Fuck. Like, let him keep his happiness. You keep yours. It's fine. Like I honestly, I think that is I think that is the best thing to do in this situation, or just either cheat or don't do it. But making it his problem is the worst option here. Because no matter what he says, you've damaged the relationship in a way that you don't have time to repair.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna be hurt. Regardless. I mean, for one, like you're dying. Like if this is my person, you're passing away. Like there's no. I was about to say there's nothing that could surpass that hurt. But unless you fucking want to cheat on me right before you die, I don't know. But
damn.
But if you bring it to me, like you gotta have something to sweeten that motherfucking pot for me. Like
yeah. Because I'm tit for tat with those kinds of things, but in this situation, I could imagine myself not being tit for tat. But I could also, because it's like you're dying, so I already am winning low key. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't put it that way, but like
I know, damn.
I mean, but come on, man.
Wild.
Who position you really want to be in? I'm not trading places with her.
I don't know, man.
Let's be serious.
No more suffering, no more pain, like Mary J. Blige.
Okay, that's joking, dark and fair.
I'm just joking.
It's he said it's dark and fair. That was
that's dark and fair. All right. Okay, well, back to the cookies, my nigga. Okay.
Yeah. You know, I understand what you're saying, but that was very macabre.
I don't disagree, but it was quite macabre. I mean,
we love some good old macabre on the cob.
I enjoy living, at least at this particular section of my life and most sections of my life. Even I would say even when I felt pretty bad, it's been pretty rare that I've like seriously considered checking the fuck out. Like the times when I consider checking, I don't want to talk about that. But anyway, my main point is just in a situation like this, mainly I'm like, you gonna die in 9 months. I already won. So what can we do to help you? I don't need to get extra pussy to like make it even.
I don't know, man. Nope. I'm gonna be like, hey man, can you give me 50,000? First of all,
50,000 virgins. You want 50,000 virgins?
He's gonna say dollars, but
I was gonna say dollars.
No, this nigga Joshua do with 50,000 virgins.
This nigga Joshua was like,
just have 50,000 instances of bad sex.
Yeah. That's insane that niggas that they propose that as a reward for niggas. We'll give you all the virgins you can handle. Oh, great. Yay.
I thought it was only 72, or are you referring to something else?
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers.
Because 72,
I mean, but come on, like 72 is still crazy.
72 is manageable over, I think, a lifetime.
Yeah, but realistically,
I mean,
still virgins over a lifetime.
Army. Okay,
you got this. It's a warranty. It's a shelf life on that. You got to action that item real quick.
Wait, what?
Okay, 72 virgins, right? You got 72 people.
You start with 72. Okay, if you have 72 virgins, you take away
72 people because they're all human beings. They're not
apples.
just pocket pussies. These are all human beings, okay?
Yes.
So you got 72 people. Are we counting the same 72 people over a lifetime? Because, like, I mean, come on now. It's a shelf life on that virginity. They're going to go out and fuck something. That medulla oblongata, amygdala, whatever it is, that's going to get popped.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I think it's the uvula or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
not a uvula.
This nigga said the amygdala. You picking at him like yours made more sense. Like what the fuck?
Definitely, at least it's in the coochie. He said at least his was in the coochie.
No, it's not, bro. No, it's not.
Oh shit!
It's down there. Down
no, it's not, bro. No, it's not. I swear.
What did you say? The uterus?
Okay, yeah. No,
nigga, you
said the amygdala, bro.
Yeah, no, that's what. No, that's why I'm talking about Eddie. That's why I was saying Eddie.
Oh, okay.
At least Eddie's was down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
it's
of course
also
the
not.
amygdala's not.
Yeah,
the uvula is also not down there.
But he said,
I know.
uterus.
I wasn't talking about.
I
I was joking.
Oh, okay. My fault.
Jeez, way to goddamn.
My fault. Shit, I'm stupid. Why would we make it about me? Okay. So what were we saying?
I don't remember. That really took me out.
So if Johnny has 50,000 virgins.
We was doing math. Right, yeah. So, okay, 72 virgins over a lifetime, right? Are we counting those same 72 people over that lifetime? Because if you count those same 72 people over a lifetime, they're not going to be virgins.
Okay,
so are we replacing the virgins?
When I said lifetime, I meant like the afterlife. Because you don't get the virgins till you're dead.
Oh.
So you don't get them like now.
Man,
you get them after you die.
I'm
like...
I'm gonna need 100. What the fuck? What up? Come on now. I'm dead. I got infinite dick to give. Like, what you mean I only get 72?
And that's my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like over the course of like an entire infinity, 72 is like plenty to get through. But I'm also like, what's the point of extra virgins? Like, that doesn't even seem like it has real value.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, because
you know what I'm saying?
And we're having fun. So to be a little crass, like everybody don't fuck the same. Like, come on, like, cause you find a couple people that can that you have a really good sexual chemistry with, and you want to go back.
Oh yeah, no, but also like in my mind, I'm assuming you're not like using them like Pez. You're not like, oh, one virgin, two virgin. You're going. These are 72 sexual partners that are starting from zero. That I'm going to be fucking or concubines or whatever the fuck over the course of your afterlife. But I'm like, why would I want to start from zero? I mean, obviously the whole situation is fucked up because why would you want to own 72 people? But like, if you had to, that's not even the ideal, you know.
Yeah, the whole premise is fucked up. Like, why? Like,
exactly, from like multiple different angles. Yeah,
right. We're not arguing the legitimacy of being gifted virgins upon your death, okay?
But just, you know, if we were, then it wouldn't be. But wait, how do we get on the 72 virgins?
I can't remember.
Because we were talking about the whole whether or not you would fuck her, whether or not
it was compensation. We were talking about the tit for tat situation, and I said I would ask for 50, and then I paused a little bit.
Okay,
$1,000, and Josh was like,
"Thank you,
50 virgins," and then
50,000 virgins. Yeah.
So why do you want $50,000? I guess it would be the question.
Because I could buy shit with it. I was just saying something that would be something I could get in
low-key,
compensation.
I agree. If you're dying and you're gonna fuck your ex, you got to give me everything that you have. But wouldn't that happen anyway? Isn't that like she would give me all her, like, I don't know the rules, but if your wife dies, don't you get everything she has?
I mean, unless they have a will that states otherwise, yes. Right. Because you're
I want that shit
automatically next of kin. But I also didn't necessarily know if they were husband and wife in the scenario. So
okay, well, yeah, we got to write it up. If that's a girlfriend, like you gotta write that up. I want all the money in your bank account. I want your house.
Because if it's my wife, if it's my wife, we both have life insurance policies anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna get whatever, you know.
Okay, y'all ready to tackle something else?
Yes, sir. Let me toss up this. Do you want to do too much too soon? Is love bombing, or is there something else on here that looks like, you know, what it is?
I like that.
Okay, cool. Let me add one of these videos. Boom.
After our first date, we went like on some little walk by the pond, real cute. And the next day, he sent me like a full spa care package. For what?
My type of shit.
I ain't gonna hold y'all. A spa care package. I'm talking about like facials, deep stone massage, everything.
Don't ask me for
after
shit.
one date. That right there is a red flag to me now. Like when people start giving you big packages and big presents like so early on, that's a red flag. That's the beginning of love bombing.
Agreed. But go ahead.
I agree with that. That's kind of weird. It's a little weird. It's only like certain instances where that works out. But
y'all said I was tripping when I said the same thing, but okay. I guess we needed a woman to say it.
What you mean?
Because I said old girl that was bringing Hennessy and cigars to the first date was doing too much.
Okay, so I've been talking to someone for literally like 2 days now, and we decided to have our first meetup. I know for a fact he is an avid cigar smoker. I remember that my dad is an avid cigar smoker, and he has a really nice collection. So before getting on the road for our date today, I decided to stop by my parents' house and actually pick up a cigar, and my dad actually threw in a cigar cutter.
Yeah, but I just didn't. So the reason why I said that wasn't love bombing was because the way that planned out, it wasn't actually like a big deal. Like it was like a cigar that like her dad gave her. It was like some stuff, some twine that she had like going around. It was much more low maintenance than what I would consider a love bombing gesture.
Okay, so where's the cutoff for everybody here?
I don't know exactly what a cutoff is, but when you start like going out of your way to like just purchase a lot of things, like big packages, and once again, like a cigar and some flowers doesn't cost a lot of money. Like you can pick that shit up on your way to the date real quick, but once you start like spending hundreds of dollars, possibly thousands after a first date, sending roses, making all these grandiose gestures of love, affection, that's a little strange. Like you don't know me like that. I don't know you like that. Why on earth am I doing this? Like, I'm really trying to, for me personally, I feel like that's a person really trying to compensate instead of actually just winning the person over with who they are versus what's in their bank account.
I completely agree. And I also think it just shows a lack of self-awareness. Because that's like half of these situations, that's what I think about. It's not just like, how does this look or what does it mean directly? It's like the fact that you aren't aware of what I might be thinking in response to this situation that's more the red flag than the actual thing that you're doing. Because you might be like maybe you're a billionaire and maybe you're like, this don't mean nothing to me. Like this is easy. I had my secretary do it. It literally took me 30 seconds. This is the same as buying you a cup of coffee to me. But I would think a person will go, but I know that's going to come across a little bit much, so I won't do it. And the fact that you didn't have that little person in your ear telling you that makes me think that you don't have that person, which makes me think you're going to be a lot. You're going to be a problem in situations where I'm expecting a person to behave normally. You won't. Right. And so you're loving like this. And when it comes to me, I don't reciprocate, or I don't return your feelings in a certain way, or I don't return a call on time, you're going to have me chopped up in a suitcase. So
exactly.
No.
And I'll say this one other piece too, is like, for one, because even if you got somebody who might be a little bit more emotionally regulated, but they're just trying to win somebody over with their bank account, like I was saying a second ago. For one, like, you got to start out with shit that you can actually maintain. Me personally, I'm quick to be like, look, I ain't got it like that. So I'm not about to start off with all these grandiose love gestures and like going on all these expensive dates, because that's not some shit that I can maintain and upkeep. I have no interest in even trying to do that shit. But I will do like, you know, like little nice, kind, sensible, like actionable gifts. Like, oh, I thought about this. Like, you said this. Oh, you said you wanted a book? Let's look on Amazon. It costs $20. All right, around that third date, she's still cool. If she acting like she, you know, she got some damn sense. Oh, cool. Boom. You got a book at your door.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so sweet. Like, wow. Like, oh, it's stuff, doing stuff like that. But
yeah, a lot of it is vibe shit. Cause I'm like, it wouldn't be, a lot of it is vibe stuff. Cause there's a situation where I could, you know what? Actually, I think it's just that it depends if I'm dumb too. Like, if I really like you too much too soon, I'm going to overlook you doing too much too soon, which I don't think necessarily justifies it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I like you a lot 3 dates in and you buy me a car, I'd be like, that is so sweet. Because I'm stupid, though. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I
must really be special.
Exactly. I'm going to get arrogant in my head. I'm like, this really makes sense. I really deserve that. But if I really like you, that's how my mind is going to be thinking. Not necessarily a car, but like, just, you know, bring it down a couple of notches. If she bought me a bouquet of flowers in general on a third date, I'd be like, that's actually much. But if I like her, I'm like, no, this makes sense. I deserve this. And she's smart for having recognized that I deserve it, you know? But that's dumb, though. I don't think that should be, I think that that's me being stupid more than it is like her being right. So I don't even know about the book thing, because I would be hesitant to, like, 3 dates in, buy somebody anything that's like a physical product. I might, like, the most I would do is recommend like a song or something. 3 dates in. I
wouldn't. I'm very much on, like, if it's cheap and relatively hassle free,
you're down to do it.
A few dates in, yeah. Like, I think that makes perfect sense.
Maybe.
A $15-$20 book, a free cigar. Like, I think that's a book board.
I wouldn't, but also maybe it's because, like, I'm broker, so I'm like a single flower, a croissant as I'm passing a place on the way. If I'm at a store, maybe, and there was like a soap or something that seemed like it lined up with something she said.
A little candle, you know, some Bath and Body Works, like 3 for $15 candle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
thoughtful,
you know, like, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
maybe. That's on the borderline.
A car, like, I think we understand that a car is a lot. I think there's a lot of room.
I think we can all agree on that one. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room between, like, a cigar and a book and a car to have this discussion. But I definitely think that, like, you know, a $15-$20 purchase is shit. Like, there are bakeries that you can go and spend, like, you know, $10 on, like, a baked good. You know what I mean? Like, so
I think food is different. Food is very different, though.
Yeah,
food to me is the same thing.
Fair. But
$20 on a food to give her feels a lot less wild 3 dates in than a book to me.
Okay, so check this out, right?
I do
because you could easily spend $100 plus $100+ on the first date. Food, drink, whatever it is that comes.
Probably just food, honestly. Like in the city, probably just food. $100.
Absolutely, but not one of
minimum.
Yeah.
Hey, I believe you
for sure.
I believe you.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right though. But again, also
this nigga is like, they treating me. I don't know what the check be looking like.
Not even that. I never seen
we
one.
going to the park. I don't know what check look like. A debit card? How do I pay this? I don't know. I just don't know. I've never done it. I don't know.
Oh, I'm just one of the boys. I don't really know. I know that. Yeah.
They fucking bring the check to the table. This motherfucker Eddie's just like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do we?
Hey, 6 foot tall bitches with big bank accounts only. No, I don't. I get what you all are saying, and it's not that I like get treated or anything like that, but it's more like I do shit that I know I can afford, and $100 on a date just for both of us or me or anything where I'm spending $100 on a date, I'm not doing. I wouldn't create that situation. Like I'm going like, cool, let's go to a burger place. Let's the most I spend on a date is like dinner and a movie, and that's at max. I'm probably spending, if you include everything like drinks, burger, fries, movie, Uber to and from, maybe you're getting towards that 60 mark. Yeah,
which I think is fair. Like I'm a huge proponent to Josh's point earlier of niggas dating in their lane, right? So it's like you don't have to be one of the and this is a brief tangent, but I really hate the whole concept of like this pre-date or like we got to get a coffee or whatever. If you don't just find a trendy taco spot within your price range and just take her out on a real date that you can afford kind of shit, just stop shooting yourself in the foot, niggas.
Coffee date the coffee date is the date.
No, but that's at the core of what I'm saying. That's my point, right? At the core of what I'm saying, that's my point. So what niggas do online is they get in there and they're like, I don't want to take you out on a real date. What I want to do is take you out on a pre-date to figure out whether or not like we vibe, and then I'll start spending my money on you. What you should do is just be like, I'm gonna take you to some place that I think is nice. Let it be somewhere within your means that you don't mind that you don't mind losing.
Like, that person would enjoy too.
And just call it a fucking date.
Pre-screening.
Yeah, and that's what niggas do. Niggas shoot themselves in the foot doing that shit. So I'm a huge proponent of
niggas are actually unironically doing that. Like going, this is not a date.
Yes.
Yeah, that's dumb. Just go look. The first date is cheap because I don't fucking know you, and then dates 2, 3, 4 could be more because I do know you and I like you. Like
and you can 100% play that like a million different ways. Like I've went on first dates way back when that cost me $20, and then you know what I mean, and had a phenomenal time. Like
I made a profit a couple times. Yeah.
How?
I don't know if we're talking about the same kind of date, Eddie.
Right.
I think you were escorting
BFE,
someone.
baby. That BFE.
Okay, Eddie went to trivia night. They want some money. That's yo bingo.
No, man. Look, if I leave with leftovers, you know what I'm saying. That's a profit because I don't have to cook dinner the next day.
I mean, low key.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
Or like she had the leftovers. And like y'all go back to your spot, and she leaves the fucking leftovers.
She leave it in the fridge.
I'm like,
bro, dead ass. I've had a girl comes through. She brings a bottle of wine, and she don't leave with the bottle of wine. Now I'm using that bottle of wine for the next girl the next day. That's a profit. That's turn a 10 to a 20. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely, real quick.
I know.
Spend a check and get it right back, my boy.
I know. Fucking Jay-Z shit over here. Good job.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what was the line, Alvin? 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Man, I can't wait to get this shit to my children. I see you, my nigga.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm saying. Generational wealth. Okay, do y'all want to do this? Stop judging the tattooed one.
Nah. Okay. What about Sassy Man?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Alvin, what do you think? Or is there something on there?
No. I'm cool with whatever you guys got. I also don't know what the context of Sassy Man is, so somebody's gonna have to explain it to me.
Josh, you want to take it away because I don't have a good starting point.
Well, all right, we're gonna have to take we're gonna have to use a little bit of movie magic. In the last video, somebody raised a question. All right, hi Eddie and gang. What do y'all think about today's men being called sassy men? What considers a man to be sassy? Thank you.
Yeah, it's just toxic masculinity and misogyny. Like I don't know. There's not. I don't have too much to say on it. I think, unless I get something to push back on, I suppose.
I do agree with that. That's definitely misogyny and toxicity at its highest. I've said this shit before. Like women participate in the patriarchy and being toxic pieces of POSs all the fucking time, but it's not highlighted because of course like men really bear the flag for that shit, but women participate in the patriarchy all the time and don't even realize it. Calling a lot of niggas sassy because he's actually more identified with his emotions, and he's speaking on his emotions and how he feels now, and saying like, no, I'm not actually about to go for that. Like, I'm not cool with that. And you're not, and the dude not even necessarily being toxic, but it's just actually, no, this is my value. I don't want to be used by you. And I deserve shit too. I don't want to just do all this chasing. And if you don't want me, I'm left with nothing, and I'm out hundreds of dollars, or I'm out whatever time, resources, and energy that I spent on you. No, I'm not about to do that. I'm also trying to live up to my worth and my value to be a better man for the person who will actually fuck with me and the person who I actually fuck with. If that's more than one person, hey, as long as you communicating that shit with them multiple people that you fucking with, cool. But women like definitely do call men sassy. Oh my God, he's just so high maintenance. He won't that.
What makes a man sassy?
If he block me, blocking
a female, sassy as hell.
a nigga that's blocking you, very much sassy. Why are you feeling so hurt that you don't want to hear from me?
That's some very high key misogynistic shit that women participate in the patriarchy as well. Like
fact total, and is. Yep, I am. And what we finna do about it?
Should I be sassy and goddamn you can go on your motherfucking way? Like
period, bitch.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
What
sassy to the motherfucker. It's giving gone. Okay. Goodbye.
And it's also like I've had conversations fairly recently about situations where women have questioned men in that same sort of realm that just like didn't even make logical sense, right? Like there was a clip that was circulating on Twitter where a woman was like, you know, my car broke down and this nigga just over here like fucking, you know, scrolling his socials or what the fuck ever. And I'm just like, how is that him being, you know, anything other than a logical person? Like, motherfucker, like we're sitting in the car, like some shit happened that we probably couldn't handle. AAA's on the way. What you want me to do? Stand outside and like just stare at the phone? You know, you're like, you know, so
I think it's the radiator.
Lift up the hood.
Yeah. Put it back down. Scratch your head a little bit.
Not to mention that like modern cars are actually very fucking complicated. Like this isn't like you know like our granddaddy's fucking, you know,
is that
1980s?
Yeah,
like
they did that shit on
like,
purpose.
Yeah, or like have like a fucking electric car, like you know what I'm saying? Like let's imagine
right. What the fuck I'm finna do? I'm not a goddamn scientist. Like there's a fucking there's a machine. Like
they got some cars where it's actually more difficult just to change a fucking tire.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like I could change a tire pretty decent.
You can,
but I haven't changed one in like a while.
There's some cars who like they have like a special lock on the damn tire or some shit. Like you gotta have like another little
shit.
Yeah, but
Extra
ultimately it's just to not to get off of Alvin's point, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like some things that come up that
we sassy.
I have seen led to that line of conversation just don't make sense from a purely logical standpoint. Right. Because I do think that when you start having conversations about patriarchy and like the traditions that have come from patriarchy, I do think that there is a logical flow to that, even though it's bullshit. But it you know what I'm saying? Like you know, 1 + 1 = 2 in those situations. I see a lot of stuff now where it's like it doesn't even flow logically based on what's happening, which is
I think most of it's the same thing with the Icks and shit. It's just women because I think masculinity is set up in a weird kind of a way because somebody said men don't really have Icks in the same way, and I was trying to think about it, and I was like, I was struggling to think of things that were so specific and silly as what an ick really is, because the icks are mostly women having an issue with men being anything other than a very flawless, hypermasculine performance at all times. And so when they do little tiny shit that makes them
he goes to brunch.
Not the most,
he
goes to brunch, or like one that I saw was like, seeing a man like chase a ping pong ball that's falling off of a table. You know what I'm saying?
Or he was treading water funny. Exactly.
Where a lot of it is, this man's not like a Hercules, He-Man, Rambo motherfucker. Or even in situations where it's like, where he needs help from another man. Like calling an electrician and like sitting there and asking questions of that kind of, like it's whereas I don't think we have the same thing for femininity. Because masculinity is just constructed in such a weird, like, in a weird kind of complicated way. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I couldn't really think of icks for women because we're pretty simple in terms of like, it's mostly just restrictive body expectations on women, and that's pretty much the main fucked up thing that we do.
We have some, like, I've definitely seen like dudes have like icks, like for instance toes, but
see, those aren't icks. I think that's us just going
gosh,
like you're physically ugly. Action. Yeah.
Well,
or you know what I mean to say.
But
like
yeah,
because
toes. That was just the first thing. But like I've seen like guys with like have like some icks. Like there's some icks that guys have for women.
Okay,
but it's not anywhere near as deep and vast as the icks that women have for men. And of course, and I would say this, and it's also like a response just based on the fucking toxic environment that was. I want to sound smart. I was going to say predated by men. But started
predicated,
by men, whatever.
Yeah,
predicated. My nigga.
Hey, yes, we do.
But yeah. So I will say, like, of course, like the cause and effect, I can understand that. But one thing that is like aggravating too is if a nigga is trying to deconstruct the patriarchy, and if he does things like you were saying, that's outside of being like a super masculine alpha, like just something that's a little off, that could easily be turned into like an ick, like. A nigga saying that he want to be in his soft era, it don't mean that he want to be like what's the word I want to choose for that? Like a deadbeat, but it just means that nigga, I don't want to struggle through life.
But also, we're not here to serve.
I think
that's also fair. Yeah.
Look, I don't have a. Okay, so with me, I don't necessarily have a problem with serving because that's my love language. But also, like, I have worth, I have value. We are here to serve each other. It's not a one-way street. We are here to serve each other. If you fuck with me, I fuck with you.
That's not a servant.
But it's just like, once again, like if a guy actually tries to break patriarchal conditioning rules, it's gonna be a lot of women who look at that shit and don't actually understand what that man is doing. Because once again, I think women hold up a lot of patriarchal values subconsciously, and they don't really realize it.
I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think like. I'm trying to think about how personal I want to get it. So like there are a lot of things that like I will explicitly say that I'm not down with like a quote unquote traditional male like perspective. For example, like I'm very open about the fact that I'm not paying full rent if somebody's like living with me, like that kind of stuff. Like
talk your shit.
To Eddie's credit, Eddie was the one that hit me on the fact that like if I'm making like so much more, like things can be proportional. Especially because I don't necessarily
because it's mostly a
downgrade my lifestyle kind of thing.
It's a symbolic thing. It's to it's not about the money because you was paying it by yourself anyway. It's about the other person showing with their money that they respect you and value you in the relationship, and they're not here for a check. I think is part of it, or that's what it would be for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that. I don't get a lot of like fight with that because it's viewed as what it is. Like it's
reasonable.
Yeah, it's not. So a lot of times when I feel like men push back on those things, men are pushing back with the intention of being a deadbeat, right? They're saying like, well, we need to do everything 50-50, and it's not really 50-50. Like they're not doing household shit. They basically
for some of these,
they basically just mean you need to go half on the rent while you also do all of the household shit, that kind of stuff. So I do feel like if you're a man that is willing to pull their weight, but you're also saying like, I'm pulling my weight, I'm actually going to pull my weight, you're also going to pull your weight, and we're going to work through this kind of together. I think women
step together
I think women are more than open to that, but I think that most men don't do that. I think most men abuse that situation.
I think that we're talking marriage shit instead of boyfriend girlfriend shit, though. I think that
I've never been married, and that's worked out for me.
Same.
I can go. Sorry, I interrupted the point that you made, but I'll clarify it in a bit.
No, I mean, I was going to take it on a completely different angle, so we can.
Well, if you think do you think that's a better one than what I was about to go down?
I definitely think what you were saying was going to be a better one.
Okay,
mine was probably going to be some shit that I was going to say, and it was probably going to die. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So part of what I'm getting at is I think a lot of these like Icks and Sassy conversations aren't people who are cohabitating and life partnering yet. These are early on conversations about like, he blocked me, that's sassy. Or like, we've been dating for a while and he asked another man to change the tire on the car and I got an ick. You know what I'm saying? Or he was running around in flip-flops in the pool and I got an ick. These are not household division of labor. Like, that is a fair context, but that's not the conversation that's being had in a lot of these instances. We're talking about a casual, early relationship. Motherfuckers not living together. They're not combining finances. They're not like second shift household labor isn't even entering into the conversation yet. Women are just going, this man experienced a moment of slight social awkwardness, or like, what's the one when when he tries to get the waiter's attention but they don't hear him?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like all of these icks are exactly the shit that men are constantly fighting tooth and nail to not be. And so with these icks, we find out like, no, women are paying attention to this shit. All this silly toxic masculinity shit that we have in our head, they're like, no, low-key, that's gay that you failed to do that. And
but the
like,
one thing,
fuck.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say, and I do want to get back to the point that I was going to make, because I do think it's more relevant in this context now. I do think that we need to pay attention to and I bring this up all the time, we need to pay attention to what the reality of the situation is, right? Okay. So like, there's some woman who posted like 30 icks and she's dating a nigga that has all of them, and like they gonna be together for the long haul. That's not a constellation. I think it is. I kind of don't give a shit. Like I have things that in any relationship that like annoy me about somebody, and like ultimately, like from an individualistic standpoint, I think that it matters that like what you're just saying is kind of bullshit online. Structurally, I think you're correct, because structurally that stuff gets put out into the ether, like it proliferates, it creates this culture. Like it drives kind of stuff in a way that is ultimately harmful for men and women. Yeah, so because other people see the tweet, the TikTok, exactly, so, yeah. and then they start thinking about that. It creates this whole like mindset, this ethos that these things are important, are sassy, and even taking that a step further, that sassy is bad if you're a man. Yeah. You're right, like being on that type of time means that you're somehow less of a man. So I do think structurally that you have like a point, but individually, right, like. There's a woman. There's still fucked up. Yeah, because I think this individually, like, you can have all these icks and pull whoever. Like it kind of doesn't matter individually to me.
I think this bar of like, oh, but they still keep fucking you is like, on what planet is that an acceptable like?
I don't even. That's not even what I'm talking about, because again, like people fuck people they don't even like. I'm saying
exactly.
That like
they date people they don't even like. They marry people they don't like.
I wasn't even talking about that, but I'm saying like I think that's much rarer than like you fucking somebody that you don't like. I think people fuck people that they don't like frequently. I think people, especially in 2023, I think this was definitely different in the past. In 2020, like historically, for the majority of like, you know, modern civilization of people, I think it's been different. But I'd say in 2023, we're definitely at a point where a lot of people are, I'd say most people are not dating people that they don't like. Maybe, you know,
I think it's enough for my point. I think it's enough for my point, and I also think that like not liking someone is a lot more complicated than we're pretending it is. Like people think they like someone, but you really dig down, and it's like, no, you have some deep resentments towards your wife. You have some deep condescending, dismissive, misogynistic beliefs about your wife, who you think you love, but low key, if you think about it, if you really look at it, you have some disdain for her and some disgust for her, and. To this point with the icks, yeah, you like your husband, you're with your husband, you're married to him, he's the best option. But all of these icks, you've got a lot of disdain and disgust that needs to be unpacked.
Now, I think that that's what I was going to get into, because I think there's a clear distinction between how the icks were presented versus how the quote unquote beige flag conversation was, right? So
what's that?
So basically, how could y'all not have seen this? Like. I saw it.
Like I understand the
YouTube commentary channels. Like
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So effectively, it's things that were supposed to be like this isn't quite a red flag. It's something that kind of made me say, you know, in regards to my partner. Flag? I mean, they called it a beige flag. Why are you giving it a different color?
Well, just because beige is neutral to me. I know, but beige is neutral, because I've heard orange flag before, but beige would mean like, oh, she eats her toast with the corners cut off. That's a beige flag. It doesn't mean anything about any fucking thing.
Bro. It's just a neutral.
I know. I'm just saying
neutral,
how the
like
word.
It's in between. Yeah,
but it's not neutral. He's saying it's a little bit bad.
So the issue with the beige flags was
brown, nigga. Of course, it's bad.
They were presenting them. Shit, boom. You weren't even thinking. Eddie.
Ooh, I really wasn't. The white man was in my mind.
Exactly, my brother. You calcify that shit.
My fault.
You ain't passed the vibe check, Eddie. You ain't passed the vibe check. But anyway,
Jay Electronica tried to tell us.
So when they were going through those, these were supposed to be kind of like cute, quirky, like, oh, things my man kind of does that's a little bit off. And then people started reading them and realizing that like every beige flag was actually really just a red flag. But the presentation of them was from the posters, you know, from the OPs initially, was very much like, this is kind of like cute, this is quirky, this is something that is kind of endearing. And then people were kind of like, no, that's horrible. Your partner's bad. So I think that the juxtaposition between how those things were presented by the original posters versus the Icks, I think is a fascinating conversation that I'm not quite 100% how to parse out at the moment, but I do think there's something there.
What was an example of one of those?
Yeah, a beige flag would be like, oh, he doesn't know my birthday or some shit like that. Like he doesn't know my man doesn't know what my middle name is.
Right.
Like,
and we've been together for 6 months, like type shit.
Isn't that cute and funny? Yeah. Isn't he a silly man? But it's like, no, he don't like you. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But I remember one of the best pieces of advice when I was a while ago when I got back out into the dating streets a little bit, you know, just mulling over some shit because a nigga be overthinking sometimes. And best piece of advice that I got at the time, because I was just thinking about like dumb shit, like that just goes on in the ethos that probably don't really happen in real life a lot. And my homeboy was just like, look, he's like, even if you do come across a woman like that does X, Y, and Z, who thinks X, Y, and Z, fuck it. Them the girls we leave at home. Like, there's plenty of other women out here that don't care.
I think the issue though is, and that's I appreciate, because I'm a negative thinker, you know what I'm saying? So let me just, you know, bring the energy in the room down a little bit. I think that the issue with all of those, with men and women both, with those types of problematic beliefs, is that you don't know which motherfuckers have those. Because most women are not posting TikToks, but a lot be in the comments and liking shit. So the girl who has 30 different fucking icks about little tiny ways that you failed to perform perfect masculinity might not share that with you. You get to 30, 40 years of marriage, and there's all these little bits of ways that you know what I'm saying?
I equate it to like women getting online and saying like, if you not 6'4", I ain't even fucking dating you, nigga. Her baby daddy is fucking 5'8". Like you, like all
that's not a concession to my previous point. That's not a concession.
I'm not.
Like
I get what you're saying.
For somebody.
I get what you're saying, right? But my whole point is that like a lot of people get in relationships, and again, like I said, structurally, I think you're onto something. Individualistically, right? There are people that do individual things.
I'm talking about the individual bit.
Yeah, like icks, you know, of any form, whatever. That somebody has those icks and like somebody loves that person, right? Like there are women. I think that 100% is enough. I don't like everything about anybody. I don't like everything about anybody.
No, but an ick is specific. Like okay.
Bro,
I somewhat agree that I think that you can have those feelings of disgust or resentment and then keep it to yourself, work through that, and continue to have a happy relationship. I agree. I think the problem is when you try and justify it. Like, ick is presented as something that a man is doing instead of a toxic behavior and thought pattern that the woman experiencing it is having. That's how it's presented to the public.
Which is a structural issue.
No. But it's not just a structural issue. I think that individually, if you view the fact that you have disgust for your partner as their problem instead of yours, the fact that you maintain a relationship is a problem, not a solution to that fact.
I think you can have like, especially from the woman perspective, right? Because again, we do have to understand that this is a patriarchal society. Like a woman can be like, it's kind of weird that like he chased a ping pong ball, but I love him. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with you having like your brief internalized like patriarchy in this patriarchal society that you as a woman have to like exist and move and like live in, and like you still like me because like I fucking chased a ping pong ball kind of awkwardly, or I said, oh, excuse me, when like a waiter didn't hear me or some shit. Like, cool, I'm good with that.
Right.
I'm more than fine.
Because there's gonna be a lot of stuff that it goes both ways, but like it's gonna be shit that your partner does. It's gonna like, I don't really care for that one, but she's so great in all these other areas. Like that's an inescapable truth. And like I was like, you're not going to like everything about it.
And the stuff that we don't like, and the stuff that we don't like is likely coming from the same toxic masculine place. Like it's likely coming from the patriarchy. Like you're like, to your point, Eddie, which you did mention, like our body shaming shit
like, is bad. Is my point.
But it's bad. But what I'm saying
is
that
my problem, not hers.
What I'm saying,
going,
what I'm saying is that
fat today. I'm doing a bad thing in my brain that needs to be addressed, and it's bad at the individual level.
Yeah, it's a bad thing at the individual level. But what I'm saying is that one, I don't think those two things are apples and apples.
Equal.
I think that is. I think that's.
Yeah,
I think that's
I realize how you were kind of leaning, and I'm not sure if I agree, but I understand the point. Yeah.
Yeah, the point is that like you can have those things that like you don't individually like about somebody, you can still kind of care for, and like individually, I think that can work. Structurally, those messages still get like built into structures. They still get built into systems. They still get built into the courts of public opinion, which impacts people's everyday lives in a much deeper level than what they're doing. But like, again, a woman saying that like she didn't like the way that I chased a ping pong ball, or she didn't like that I couldn't change a tire. I can change a tire. But as an example, like how does that really like impact our relationship on an individual level? It doesn't, because before I could change a tire, women didn't care. I didn't change a tire until I was 18. So it's like, you know, like nobody cared.
They started caring in college.
They did start caring in college. It was actually impressive that I could change one in college.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
It was impressive that I could do it in college.
He's getting pussy off minor mechanic abilities.
Hell yeah, bro. Because it's just like doing some quote unquote.
Where's your tire iron? Oh shit! What the fuck that
I don't even know what that is, girl. Go ahead, lift that. You know, pop the trunk. Let me get there and lift up the little
it's
mat
underneath
back
the
there.
tire. Like, oh shit, what is there's something underneath the mat? It's a basement in the trunk. Oh,
You got to be
what
doing
the
this
fuck
motion,
is that?
looking up at it. It's like, shit, man, what you be doing on Saturdays?
Yeah, exactly. Do it. Don't look at
Jacking the car up.
looking at the girl while doing something else. Like, oh, I'm so calm. I don't even need to look at this. It's whatever. Yeah. Pop the hood.
Mesmerize them with the technique.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I do. That's what I be doing in the kitchen. Well, look, I'll say this right now. If you see your girlfriend wheel into the kitchen, you know what I'm saying, with her little chemo IV drip bag talking about, so I want to have a conversation. I want to be really honest. And I think, you know, since I'm going to pass away soon, I'd like to fuck my ex. You are seeing a red flag. But at the same time, if you think niggas are sassy just for, you know, kind of being human, so you just waving the red flag. There's been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It's been Eddie. It's been Josh. It's been Alvin. We'll see y'all next week as always. Join as a member on Spotify, Patreon, YouTube. If you want to get the full episodes, if you want to join us on the live, if you want to get access to the Discord, like, subscribe, comment under this, and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you know when we drop a new video every week. We'll see y'all next week. That's it. Any announcements? Book tours? You know what I'm saying? Hot yoga workshops.
Oh man, go and check out Learn Lionel Live podcast show, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the boys.
We had a representative out there.
Never have I ever peed on a nigga before. Yeah, go ahead and drop that thumb. Oh, we got her going shower center, right? Nasty as fuck.
Well, yeah, yo, folks, we're gonna start doing live shows at some point. So you know what I'm saying? Just we speaking that into existence. We'll see when it happens, but looking forward to the future. All right, that's the pod. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, peace, peace.